Welcome to the Happy Heart Academy. My name is Tyler Joe Stratton, and I am your heartbreak coach, helping you walk back to happiness after your heartbreak. And today we have a very fun teaching, something that I hold near and dear to my heart. And it's a teaching about becoming a better version of yourself, like rediscovering yourself after a heartbreak. And ideally, I believe you're gonna find this video training helpful because time and time again, we find ourselves lost after our heartbreak. Like we have no idea who we are or what we stand for or what we want our life to be about because our significant other, in most cases, were our everything. And when we establish that they are our everything in that relationship, we oftentimes lose ourselves. And when we lose them, we ultimately lose ourselves. And that's what we're going to be talking through today. We're going to be talking about how do you go about creating a better version of yourself after a heartbreak, especially when you've lost your sense of identity, sense of self, sense of purpose, which ultimately seems to come right after a heartbreak. And like I said, when you lose them, you feel like you've lost yourself. So, like always, guys, I'll be reading from some of my notes here on the computer screen as well as on this computer screen as well. So, don't mind me if I look away. All of the notes are in the Happy Heart Academy resources section under the Happy Heart Accelerator program. If you're not a part of the Happy Heart Accelerator program, be sure to go check it out. The link will be below for anybody that is watching this potentially on YouTube. And it is a community where I help you by bringing to you weekly teachings and trainings, course material, and personal development life work to help you go back from your heartbreak to creating a happiness after your heartbreak. It's a community where I teach you to live more from your heart rather than your hurt through practical teachings and understandings and perspective changes. And this is my passion. This is what I love to do. This is what I love to talk about. This is what I love to learn about because I believe if you can master your relationships, you can ultimately master your life. Because at the end of the day, I talk about this in my book, The Big Three, where I teach you how to build joyful and loving relationships with yourself, others, and God after heartbreak. Is ideally, I believe that the quality of life we live directly reflects the relationships that we have with ourself, others, and God and everything in between. And if we have a lower quality of life, it's because our relationships with ourself, others, and God, and everything in between is also poor quality. So if you want to increase your happiness, your livelihood, your aliveness, your overall joy in your life, you need to learn how to get better at your relationships and establishing happier, more loving, more joyful, and deeply connected relationships. Because at the end of the day, it's not the things that we have, but the type of relationships we have with ourselves, others, and God that will ultimately help you live a better quality of life. And that's what we're here to do at the Happy Heart Academy. But nonetheless, we will begin the training. And I hope you find it rather helpful. But before I get started, I do want to talk about when I get asked the question, Tyler, how do I begin to find myself after I feel so lost, alone, like I don't have a purpose, a sense of mission? I don't feel that energy or aliveness in my life anymore. When people come to me and ask me, how do I find myself? I always kind of take a moment to pause because I don't think it's really about finding yourself as much as it is about creating yourself. I think we need to change the question in order for us to find the answer. We're not asking the right question at this point in time when we go through a heartbreak. We're like, I have no idea who I am. How do I find myself? Well, finding you is not what it's about. It becomes very challenging when you ask yourself that question, like, where do you begin? Where do you even start to begin to unfold and find yourself? And I have a couple tips and tricks and ideas that I'll share with you today. But, ultimately, I want us to focus more on the question of how do I create myself? Who do I want to become? Because right now you're sitting at the crossroads, the same crossroads that I was back 7 years ago. I was sitting at the same crossroads, feeling completely alone, lost, purposeless. My identity was completely confused. I didn't know where I stood or who I was or what I wanted to be. And you can either stay trapped there and stay stuck in your hopelessness and your depression and your sense of separation, or you can choose the path that I chose. And it's a path of personal power and equipping yourself with the ability to take charge of your life in full responsibility of your own suffering. And the way that we get to do that is not by asking ourselves questions that make us feel stuck, but rather asking ourselves questions that can help us to enhance the quality of life we live and the joy that we have in our relationships with ourself, others, God, and everything in between. And how we go about doing that is, like I said, asking ourselves different questions. So the question I need you to ask yourself, if you feel completely lost, like you don't know who you are, like you don't know what you stand for, like you feel lifeless, like it's hard to get out of bed, I need you to ask yourself, who do I want to become? And get excited about that. You've got to get excited about the idea that you can become anything that you put your mind to, your heart to, your soul to. If you completely absorb into the reality of a different identity and you can become fanatical about that identity, you will rediscover who you're meant to be. This heartbreak was not a setback, but it's going to be your biggest breakthrough because you're going to step toward the better version of yourself that you're excited to be. And ultimately, I do want to talk about before, like I said, I jump into the teaching, in-depth teaching of the day, because if you guys just want to stop here, I want to make sure I give you enough information to go on your way because some of you live busy lives and can't spend the next 45 minutes with me. So ideally, we're going to be talking about um, different practical ways in which you can enhance your self-discovery exploration and find yourself. So when you want to get to know yourself and rediscover yourself after you feel like you've completely lost everything that you stood for, meaning your significant other, how do you find and get to know somebody else? How do you learn about if you're taking someone out on a date, how do you get to know them? Think about that for a minute. And then I need you to understand that the same principles apply to when you want to get to know yourself. Don't treat yourself any differently. Actually, you probably should treat yourself the way that you probably treat others on your first date, with kindness, compassion, attention, presence. I need you to take yourself out on a date. And I'm not saying you have to go out and to the movies or go out and get a bite to eat. I'm not saying that you need to go, actually take yourself out somewhere. What I'm really trying to say is that you need to spend time with you. Because right now, what you're doing is you're running away from the pain that's internal and you're trying to run away externally and try to fix what's going on internally. You're trying to numb the pain. You're trying to avoid the pain and when you try to numb or avoid or distract yourself from the internal pain that your heartbreak caused by watching Netflix, by playing video games, by going drinking, by sleeping with other people, when you do this, what it does is it takes away your time that you get to spend with you. I know this is the time that you don't want to spend by yourself. You're like, Tyler, but listen, it's super hard to be alone. I haven't been alone for 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, 30 years. I know. I understand. It is a pain in the butt for you to have to do the work that I'm about to tell you to do. But listen, we need to help evolve humanity. We need to help you tap into your heart so that you can rediscover who you truly are and who you're meant to be. And you can only do that by spending more time with yourself. So listen, if you want to rediscover who you are, you need to take step number one, which is step number one is all about spending time with yourself. That's how you get to know yourself. That's how you get to understand who you are and who you want to become, what you like and what you don't like. Part of this breakup blessing is that you now know what you don't like. And sometimes it takes what you don't like to help you understand what you do like. Sometimes it takes understanding what you don't want in order for you to figure out what you do want. There's things that your ex did to you or things that you guys did together that you didn't necessarily enjoy. You didn't like being treated that way, spoke to that way, certain things like that. Now that you know what you don't want, this will help you to open your mind to figure out what you do want. So, step number one is all about spending time with yourself. You've got to sit down and spend some time with yourself to get to know yourself without distractions. You don't want to be distracted. You've got to feel your heart to heal your heart. You got to feel the pain and to heal the pain. You can't avoid the pain and expect to heal, because the emotional bondage that you're pushing down and suppressing will end up in depression, or you'll end up running and expecting another person to come into your life and to help heal your heart. You'll run to another person expecting them that is they will be the key to my overall happiness, that they will be the key to my healing. Listen, running to somebody else won't help you heal your heart. And I need to get back on track. But listen, a lot of us, including myself, at one point in time, I would run to women to help me kind of adjust the physical, mental, spiritual, emotional pain that I was going through when I was in my heartbreak period. And this was absolutely horrible. I felt horrible. I felt like I was playing people, and I didn't want to be played, and I didn't like being not appreciated, and I didn't feel like I was appreciating them. But I was just kind of like, that would just help me numb my pain. So I ran to other people, but expecting that if I found somebody else, that they would help me ignore my pain, heal my pain, or help me create happiness after this heartbreak. And that was never the truth. So listen, does it make sense that you should spend time with yourself to get to know yourself? Yeah, and that's probably what you should start to do. And how do you begin to spend time with yourself without distracting yourself? Well, honestly, journaling. Journaling is always a big one. I have my journal. I always have my journal close by. All the time do I have it right here, and I always have a pen near it so that I can journal about my thoughts, my feelings, my improvements, who I want to be, always expressing a better version of myself. If I did something wrong, because I'm not perfect, like in my relationship with my fiance, sometimes I feel like I could show up with in a more loving manner, and I note that down in my journal, like, Tyler, you could have been more loving in this situation. This is how I need you to respond next time so that you can fulfill God's purpose for your life in your relationships. That's me. That doesn't need to be you, but this is where I'm at right now in my life. As I notice the things that I do, and I only found the awareness when I started to meditate. So that's one of the keys to helping you discover yourself, is meditation. Literally, I will lay down in bed and I will spend time with myself, literally with no distractions. Maybe I'll play some peaceful music. You might hear it in the background. Not sure if you can hear that, but there's peaceful music playing, and I'll tune into the peaceful music, and I'll turn inward toward myself, and releasing all of the negative energy, or thoughts and personal opinions that people hold over my head. Because I don't allow people to tell me who I am. I let myself tell me who I am. And I know we can get you there as well. So let's talk about the future self journaling as a daily practice. Listen, we're going to dive into this. I do have a worksheet attached. Like I said, in the resources section under the Happy Heart Accelerator program, it's the future self practice, creating a better version of yourself. You can download that there at the Happy Heart Academy. It's also called community.happyheartacademy.com. Link will be below. But listen, future self journaling is a daily practice to be able to help you break out of your patterns and daily conditioned routines, habits that are keeping you feeling stuck and repeating your past. Okay, so what we're going to be talking about is a daily practice that you need to implement into your daily life so that you can begin to know who you are and recreate and rediscover who you are. Because remember, the question is not a matter of how do I go about getting to know me or rediscovering myself. The question becomes, how who can I become in this moment? Okay, so you can begin your practice over at the Happy Heart Academy. You can begin it after this video. It really doesn't matter to me. Let me just check here, see what time we have. Okay, perfect. So you can begin, I'm sorry, to create a better version of yourself by understanding this is why the future of yourself is exciting, because ultimately the reason why you're the self that you're creating is exciting because it's something that you get to create. It's someone that you get to become. So we're going to talk about some practices that you can honestly get into. Now, I need you to understand there's some things that I think you will find beneficial. to help you understand. So you need to understand when it comes to the future self journaling experience. I need you to understand why it even works. How is what I'm about to tell you works? Like, how does it work and why does it work? Well, I'm going to talk about that because sometimes people need to know the why so that they'll actually do. So you might be one of those people that, well, why does this work or how does this work? And how will what you're telling me to do actually create the end result that I want to have? Well, this is exactly how. Your brain is capable of incredible change. Okay. Your brain can change throughout your entire life. Science has actually proven that your brain is able to grow new cells and strengthen and rewire itself. Many of you probably know this by now, but if you don't, this is actually called neuroplasticity. And most of us have been struggling or strengthening, most of us have been strengthening all of these pathways of habits and our beliefs and the feelings, behaviors, and coping skills we've learned since childhood by repeating most of those daily habits. Okay, our brains, this is pretty interesting. They're plastic, which means through intentional acts, we create change in the pathways to our brain. By being intentional, we can rewire and change the pathways in our brain. To create change, here's what you need to do. To become a better version of who you want to be, you need to begin to fire new neurons and create new pathways. Over time, these new pathways can be stored in the subconscious as a new autopilot or habit. I believe in my eyes that you are your habits. That if you want to create change, you have to understand that nothing changes if nothing changes. Okay. That means if you don't change what you do on the daily, you won't end up changing. If you bring the past into the present, you will only receive the past into the future. Are you following along? Meaning, if you are currently present in this moment, but you're bringing the past into this very moment, your future will be the same as your past. The only way that you can begin to change yourself, find yourself, rediscover yourself, become a better version of yourself is by being fully present, letting go of the past, and being fully present in this very moment, in creating the person you want to be by incorporating new habits into your life. Okay, so if you can dream it, you can create it. This simply means that through mental rehearsal or the action of visualization, it, we have this ability that is proven to impact your relationship with yourself, the relationship with others, the relationship with God, and everything in between, including the real life performance. This ideally highlights the power of our minds. Our body doesn't know. This is very important. I learned this from Bob Proctor, very powerful, influential person in my life. Bob Proctor talks about how our body, our minds, don't know the difference between what is real and what is imagined. So we're actually training and creating through repetition of thought um, either success or failure when we mentally rehearse these visual exercises, when we picture things. Because I said, if you can dream it, meaning if you can think it, you can create it. That's why we'll be talking about why it's very important to write in present tense in the example I am present tense, and how this I am present tense sends a message that these changes are already taking place and they will eventually help you become what you want to become. I know this is getting a little woo woo in depth, but we're just follow along here. We're going to get into the 5 steps that you can use in order for you to create a better version of yourself. Because remember, it's not the question of, Tyler, how can I find myself? It's a matter of who do I want to become now? Because you don't find yourself, you create yourself. Okay. And that's a very important insight to take away. You do not find yourself, so to speak. You create yourself. You create your reality, and you think of your reality, and then you rewire your thoughts to completely continue to think these images over and over again. Like, for example, let me give you an example. Okay. The example of doing just this is ideally, for the longest time, even prior to my breakup, I had a hard time with feeling happy. But I went to counseling, many years of counseling therapy, and nothing seemed to ideally work. And I always talked about my emotions. Sometimes I didn't. Sometimes I had anger issues, and I would just punch the crap out of my pillow or take it out on the football field. Football was my saving grace. Because it allowed me to express my emotions, not by speaking my emotions, but taking the physical pain out of my body and onto somebody else. Like I would transfer that energy into my as a sport on the field, right? And ideally, what we need to do is, if you want to become a better version of yourself, you need to first see it in your mind's eye, right? You need to see it in your mind's eye, and then you need to see it every single day. And then you need to attach an action to that thing that you see yourself as. So every single day, when I was feeling completely depressed, I would picture myself as a happy individual. Okay. So I'd picture myself as this happy individual. And I would be like, well, I want to be happy, but I'm not happy. So what does it take to actually be happy? And who am I and what am I doing, more importantly, that sense helps me to feel happy? It's in the doing that things begin to change. It's in the action that things become to manifest into your life, and you actually become the thing that you set out to be, right? So ideally what I would do is, I'm like, I am happy. I am so happy and grateful now that I am happy. And then I would close my eyes like I'm doing right now. I'd close my eyes and I'd imagine what it looks like what it looks like and what it feels like, more importantly, what it feels like to be happy. And what am I doing during this time? Well, I'm teaching, I'm educating, I'm training, I'm coaching, I'm writing a book, I'm recording a podcast, I'm spending time with the love of my life. And at the time, obviously, I didn't know that I didn't really have an idea of like the person that I was going to be my forever partner, but I would always imagine myself happily holding someone's hand and knowing that lady was going to be my forever partner, and it would spark happiness in me. So, what would I do on a day to day basis? When I knew what would make me happy, is I would actually start to do those things. Even when I felt incompetent to do those things and not confident to record a podcast, to teach people, to, help myself become a better version of myself. So ideally, that's what we need you to do. Okay. Now, this last thing that I'm saying on how this can actually work is repetition establishes new habits. And like I said, habits are who I believe you are. Nothing changes if nothing changes. So if you change the way that you do things, you will begin to change. So you can rewire your subconscious mind through constant repetition until you have established a new program in your mind. To create a substantial amount of change, our brains need consistent practice, right? And this practice that we're going to be talking about, it will only take you about 5 to 8 minutes per day. And I want to make it really simple on you so that you can actually begin to see the difference and be the difference, right? So there are 5 steps to creating a better version of yourself. Remember, like I'm going to continue to say, it's not how do I become? It's not about you becoming finding yourself. It's about creating yourself. And ideally, what I need you to understand is there's 5 steps to this, and we talk about this. Now, the first step is you have to witness the patterns of thoughts, your feelings, your emotions, your behaviors that are keeping you stuck. So, ideally, what I need you to do in order to create a better version of yourself and explore a part of you needs to be explored that you don't necessarily want to explore. So, I need you to spend some time thinking and maybe even journaling about the different areas in your life. Maybe it's your relationships, maybe it's your finances, maybe it's your professional life, maybe it's your spiritual life, physical life, maybe it's your social life, maybe it's your purpose and your passion. I need you to spend some time in these areas, and I need you to take it doesn't need to be long, but I need you to just identify some areas in your life that you want to bring into your consciousness. Like, do you want to bring your relationships and improve your relationships? Do you want to improve yourself? Do you want to improve, let's just actually take the example of improving yourself, because that was the big thing that helped me overcome my heartbreak, was taking the attention away from my pain and putting it back into myself and improving myself, building myself up. That means my mindset, my heart set is my emotional set, my emotions, my mindset, my heart set, my health set, my overall body, and then my soul set, which is my connectivity to the greater good of divine and God. Some of you may want to spend some time witnessing yourself daily in each of these areas to begin noting your conditioned patterns. I need you to witness patterns of thoughts, feelings, emotions, behaviors that are keeping you stuck. And now, once you've done some thinking and journaling or self witnessing, I need you to begin to consider what changes you can begin to make in each of these areas to experience more fulfillment. There are more than one, I promise you. Just remember to focus only on changes you can make yourself and avoid focusing on changing someone else's behavior. Okay, so what I need you to understand is, let's say you want to improve, like I said, yourself, and and right now what's causing you the most problem is you're not feeling emotionally empowered to take on happiness. You don't feel like you can actually generate happiness. You don't feel like you can feel happy because you lost your partner, you've lost yourself, you lost your identity, you lost your purpose. Well, what you need to witness, right? Like when you become emotional, it's like I often throughout my day, an example is I often feel reactive and not able to handle my emotions. Like that's something that you're going to witness about yourself. It might be true for you right now. Like you oftentimes feel like you feel powerless to your emotions. So that's what you've witnessed throughout the day is like you feel just completely reactive rather than being able to control your thoughts, feelings, and emotions. So what I can change. This is something that you can actually begin to change, and this is what you need to think about. Okay, but I'm going to give you an example. What I can change when I feel reactive, I can change when I feel reactive, I can practice using the deep belly breaths to regulate my body's emotions. So when I feel emotionally distraught, when I feel emotionally tense, when I feel emotional pressure, I noticed that my shoulders are up near my ears, my jaw's locked, and that my body is tense, so tense. So what do I do? Immediately, I take a deep breath in because I'm bringing the awareness of my emotional distraught and my emotional pain to my present moment. So I'm like, okay, I don't feel good. Like my emotions are out of control. And then what I do is I completely relax myself. I know I look kind of ridiculous, but like, listen, like you've just kind of relax yourself. Like notice the tension in your body and just relax everything. Just keep everything loose and breathe into it and just let it go. Just release it. Release it. Just kind of like let it go, right? That's what I need you to do. That's something that you can take control of because when you can do this, listen, I don't feel like I want to fight somebody when I'm standing with my arms and my everything's like hunched over, right? You just feel kind of like loose and laxed, right? You don't feel like uptight and just ready to burn through somebody, right? Or sad. And if you're feeling sad and you want to create happiness, listen, you can start to position your physiology, your body's appearance to feel more charged, to feel more energized, to feel more alivened. And you can take control of that sadness by going out and pushing your body in a workout or taking your body and taking complete. If you can't control your mind, you can control your body. Like if you're like, hey, move your hand, I'll move my hand. Okay. You see what I mean? Like take control of your body. When you start to take control of things, you'll start to feel like you have more power, which is important during this time. Now, number two, after you witness it, and then you've witnessed maybe a thing in your life, like you don't like that you're overreactive, what you will begin to change and what you'll begin to do is you'll begin to understand that the change that you're trying to make you need to identify how you're going to change it. So I said, you can practice using a deep belly breath and then you can relax your body. That's a habit that's going to change your overall emotional state. Number two, pick one small area of change. This is usually something that can be difficult for some, but I need you to start very small. Too much change too quickly can overwhelm you and it can cause you to feel stressed and worried and panicked and not good enough. And that's not what we're trying to do. We're trying to get you back into your personal power and reclaim your personal power by helping you recreate a better version of yourself. Therefore, working to change one small area at a time is going to be most beneficial for you. In step one, you are likely already identified more than one area that you would like to create a new habit around, and what happens when you begin to want to create something new, something better for yourself. Your ego, or also like I like to call it edging God out, ego edging God out, will now probably try to suggest or demand you focus on multiple changes at once. This is okay. Don't stress about which one you pick first. There are no right or wrong ways to start. You just got to start. Okay. Your ego will interfere with your happiness. And what it will do, I'm asking you to pick one area that you want to focus on to make a small change in. My first thing that I wanted to change was my emotional state. But what I found was that it was a lot more difficult for me to change my emotional state than it was my physical state. So I actually just wanted to start small and feel like I was progressing forward in a positive way. So I actually began to work out a lot more. Found myself in a gym, found myself running a lot more, found myself doing Spartans. I found myself like just training my body and take control of my body and my physical appearance. And this is a change that I made prominent and very made it with passionate decision that I needed to work on my body, and that was the area that I focused on. So what I need you to do is look at your list in each area and spend some time thinking about the one area where change seems most possible for you right now. That's what I said, right? I wanted to change my mind and my emotions, but I knew that was going to be a lot more challenging, so I spent time on my body. But I've also knew that if I spent time on my body and bettering my body, I'd feel better about myself. And ultimately, all I wanted to do was feel happy. I wanted to feel happy. So once you've identified the one area, you'll begin to create a new habit in. You'll want to begin with one small change or new habit in this specific area. So pick the one thing on your list that also feels the most approachable for you right now, and I need you to stick with that one small habit that where you don't feel overwhelmed or stressed. You just need to consistently show up and continue to focus in on that habit. Okay, so ideally, if you want to be, if you reclaim yourself in this time, you're like, you know what, after this relationship, I'm tired of feeling like crap. I knew I gained some weight because the emotional instability in that relationship caused me to stress eat, and I feel a little bit overweight. Ideally, your new habit is to ideally, maybe whatever seems approachable to you, is um, put down the pop and switch every single pop for sparkling water. You can start there. Well, Tyler, I hate sparkling water. Okay, well, then forget it. What I need you to do is step into the gym every single Monday, every other day. I don't know if you're a gym goer or not, but ideally, you need to set a habit that feels approachable and not going to stress you out to better your physical body. Okay, so that's something that you can begin to do. Step number three, I need you to set conscious intentions to create change in that one chosen area each and every day. This ideally is about creating time for a new daily journaling habit. Okay. So I really, what I need you to do, and I would ideally um, go over to the Happy Heart Academy in the resources section there under the Happy Heart Accelerator program, where you can um, um, join us there. Once again, if you're already a part of that, thank you for being here. This is, I hope you're finding this helpful, encouraging, supportive, and uplifting, practical trainings, because this does take me a lot of time to write. This takes me a lot of time to produce and to think about and to content create, but I love doing it. But I just hope that you're enjoying it as much as I enjoy coming up with the content for you guys. Now, ideally, step number three, like I said, is you've got to set conscious intentions to create change in that one chosen area. As we are speaking about currently, I need you to find a time when you have the most mental clarity, when your mind is clear and peaceful state. Normally, mine is when right in the morning. Okay. And most of yours might be in the morning, but most of you will have to remind yourself to do your daily journal, as this will become a new habit for you. Now, once you have found a time to create and focus inward, because you have mental clarity and you have peaceful thoughts, what I need you to do is then I need you to begin to focus on journaling at that time every single day. Now, some of you, hey, it's okay. Some of you will find it. You might miss a day, you might miss 2 days. That is completely okay. If you skip a day, it's not an issue. I promise you, it's completely okay and normal in the beginning. Try to avoid assigning meaning to skipping a day. Like, I never finish what I started. Like, I'm just lazy. Like, I just don't feel capable. Like, I don't feel like it. Like, no more assigning these bull crap meanings to what you have done. What you need to do is affirm to yourself that you will start again tomorrow with each new habit, there are times when you will not show up for yourself, and that is okay. Happens to me, and that's okay. So this is a part of a path of learning to trust yourself. Like, hey, just because I didn't wasn't there today because X, Y, or Z, I'm gonna be there for myself tomorrow. It's okay. Um, Today is just one day. Tomorrow is a new opportunity. So now we're going to talk about the journaling aspect of it. Okay, this is where we're going to get some have some fun with this. So what I'm going to do actually for you, I hope, is I'm going to pull up the PDF and I'm going to show you the practice here at the Happy Heart Accelerator program. You can download it if you come and join us. But even if you don't want to download it, you can also just honestly bring it up in your if this thing would freaking load, bring it up in your journal. Write it as your own journal here. So I don't know why this isn't loading. Just give me a moment here. Let me see what's going on. Okay. There we go. We've got it. Okay. So we're going to focus on the daily journal prompts. Let me see here. Bear with me as I am working on this technology here. Pulling up this, share screen. Desktop 2, taking it off of me. Okay, cool. So here is the future self practice, creating a better version of yourself, the daily journal. Here's some examples, but we're going to be talking about this here in a moment. So what I need you to do is use the journal prompts that I've provided here. And I need you to bring your new habit to attention of your conscious mind. Doing so helps interrupt the autopilot of old habits and creates a present opportunity to make new choices. And that's what it's all about. If you want to become a better version, remember, it's not Tyler. What do I do? Like, I feel like I've lost myself. How do I find myself? It's not about finding yourself. It's about creating yourself. And this is where we get to do it right here, right now on this screen. Okay. So daily journal prompts. This is what I need you to start journaling every single day. So pause the video. If you need to write this down, grab your journal, start to write it down. I need you to write it down. Listen, common sense isn't always common practice. And I know this sounds easy, but you've got to do it in order for the change to be created in your life that you're seeking for. So this is where it begins. So today I am practicing. I'll talk about all of these in a minute. Next thing is I'm so happy and grateful now that today I am change in this area allows me to feel. And today I am practicing when. Okay. This is what I need you to start journaling about. This is going to help you begin to feel so much better. How so? Okay. Well, step number 4, begin to practice changing the thoughts, feelings, and behaviors that are keeping you stuck daily. While these journal prompts here can be a helpful tool to create new pathways in your brain to facilitate change, you will still want to begin practicing these new habits throughout your day. Resistance, or the mental chatter going on, and I like to call it the little asshole in my mind. Resistance to change is always going to be there. Even simply journaling about change and is very normal. We typically have resistance to the things we need to do the most for our evolution and our enhancement of life. The subconscious mind is a very powerful part of our mind, and when we attempt to break up its patterning, there will be a mental temper tantrum that will take place. You might feel anxious, scared, alone, fearful, even completely blocked off from making this new change. Overcoming this is a part of the process, okay? You need to overcome this part of the process, which I'll talk about this part of the process here. Each time you make the choice to do this practice, what you see here on the screen, even when your thoughts may be yelling you to not do it, you are overcoming the mental resistance. Over time, these new habits will become a new normal for you. So what I need you to do is today, look at these. Okay. So this is the habit. Today I'm practicing. Remember, habits are actions, and actions are things that will cause you to actually believe in the change that you're committing yourself to. Excuse me. So today I'm practicing. This is going to be the habit. The habit is using my breath to regulate my emotions. Anytime I feel overwhelmed with emotion, I am going to choose the habit to regulate my breath, to relax on the emotional state of my being. That's the habit that I've just given you an example toward. I am so happy and grateful now that I am using breathing techniques when I feel overwhelmed. Okay. Whelmed. I think I spelled overwhelmed wrong actually there. But anyway, not a big deal. Okay, so I am so happy and grateful now that this is very important. This is the present tense. This is the thought process. This is the bringing the I am present tense to this moment and to pretend as if the thing that you want the most is already here. That's what this statement's about. It's about, I am so happy and grateful now that even if it's not there yet, this is where the mental resistance will begin to take place and begin to come into your mind, because you'll be like, I'm so happy and grateful now that I'm just happy and in a beautiful and loving relationship with myself, and I feel happy and on point and on purpose. This is might be, it's something that you're saying, right? Well, what you're going to experience is that what everybody experiences is this resistance, is this mental chatter. It's this little asshole in your head that's telling you that nope, you are not that. You are not happy. You are not purposeful. You're not living on point. You are going to be unhappy for the rest of your life. Listen, you've got to pour good in to allow the bad to go out. And this is a way that you get to do this. So every day I write down in my journal, I'm so happy and grateful now that whatever I want to come into my life, like right now, I'm talking more about my goals and my impact that I'm trying to make at the Happy Heart Academy and the community there. So it's like, I'm so happy and grateful now that I've impacted over 1,000 lives. I'm so happy and grateful now that I am speaking on stages with the top performers like a Brendan Burchard or a Tony Robbins. Like, I know these are outspoken goals, but it's just, this is something that I'm manifesting into my life, and it's the person that I'm changing to become more of. So I'm not going to keep focusing on that. Just understand that today, in this one here, today I am. This is the call to action. This is the who you're going to be. I'm calm and peaceful because I'm allowing my I am allowing my own emotions, and I'm feeling them. So I am allowing myself to own my emotions and feel them. I will have to fix this, but today I am. What are you? Today I am peaceful because I am. Every time I feel tense, I relax my body and I think about a peaceful moment in my life. Change in this area allows me to feel well. Change in this emotional area, the area that I'm trying to focus on, allows me to feel more in control, more at peace, more in control of my thoughts, feelings, and emotions, more empowered. What does it make you feel? You need to identify that. And today I am practicing when. So this is the thought of when I use deep belly breathing to calm my feelings and speak kind words. So I know that I'm practicing this when I this right this using my breath to regulate my emotions is a habit, and I'm going to use this habit or this practice when I know that this is the action. I use deep belly breathing to calm my feelings and speak my kind words to myself. So I need you to go download this and start writing these daily prompts today. I'm practicing to be happier. I am so happy and grateful now that I am a happy and loving individual. Today I am, once again, you can always go back up to here. Today, I am happy because I am focusing on the good that I bring to this earth and to my children or to myself. And change in this area will allow me to feel empowered. Today, I am practicing happiness when I am around people and even when I'm alone. I'm speaking kind words to myself. Do you understand? You just need to set the intention to change, and you will end up changing. So let me bring you back to me here, because step number 5, the last step here, is to repeat consistently each day to create long-lasting change and transformation. This is the truth. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. If you want lasting change and transformation in your life, you need repetition. Repetition is the mother key. It's the skeleton key that will help you to unlock your total personal change that you want to become. You need to step into a transformation. A transformation needs to take place. You need to become a better version of yourself, because who you are today is not the person you want to be because of the feelings that you're feeling. And hey, maybe you are the person that you want to be, but there's always room for improvement. And so what I need you to do is stay steady and keep practicing this one thing for the next 30 days, and set yourself up for future success. Listen, When you want to begin to change yourself, if you feel completely lost, if you feel hopeless, if you feel like you've lost a sense of self because you lost your significant other, the number one thing that you need to do is stop asking yourself, how can I find myself? What you need to figure out, ask yourself is, how can I begin to create a better version of myself that I'm proud of? That's what I focused in on. That's where I begin to explore and figure out who the heck did I want to become. I chose certain things. I chose certain practices. I chose certain habits that would help me to evolve into a better, brighter, happier young man to attract the individual that I have in my life today, my beautiful fiance, Nicole. And I couldn't have attracted that type of quality of person if I first wasn't that quality of person, because we never attract the type of person we want. We always attract the type of person we are. So if you want a better version, a better relationship, a better life, you need to become that. And this will help you to do that. So once again, my dear friends, this is the Happy Heart Academy, and I'm going to leave you with this. It's not a matter of figuring out and rediscovering who you are, but recreating who you want to be. It's about creating and the person that you ultimately want to be. And how you begin to do that, remember from the beginning, is you got to spend some time with yourself. You got to take yourself out on a date, and you got to understand what you don't like in order to understand what you do like and what you do want your life to look like. Because that there, you can then start your journaling prompts and start to speak life into yourself. Once again, my name is Tyler Stratton. I am your heartbreak back to happiness coach, and I am so thankful that you are here today. I want you to know that you will win, you will overcome, and you will create a beautiful life and relationship with yourself, others, God, and everything in between as you continue to walk toward your own personal happiness.